Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Tuesday edition, part one of Today in Sports Betting. Scott, welcome to the basketball grind, my friend. It's all about the B-ball now, except for, of course, the NFL on the weekends. But, man, our bowl games are over, the national championship's over, the playoffs are over. Time to grind it out on the hardwood. You ready?
Well, it starts tomorrow also, right?
What starts? Is it baseball?
Hockey. We got the NHL starting tomorrow.
That's the one with the sticks, right?
That's the one with the sticks that's usually played in Canada. No, but I'm an Islanders fan, so hopefully this team doesn't, suck. Hopefully that's kind of my only expectation there. I know we're not going to be talking about it that much, but yeah, if you're interested in watching other sports, there will be other options. But for the sake of our programming, I think we can agree it's mostly going to involve a ball with some wooden floors.
I wish I'd have grown up with hockey. I wish I just never went that direction, man. And my son is actually caught the hockey fever, and he's a big Islanders fan. So I've become a kind of an Islanders fan by proxy.
That's because you had the minor league team somewhat local.
Still do. They're still here. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not positive if they still have the Islander affiliation or not. But yeah, they actually had Islander gear in the pro shop, and I like going to the games, and actually I can almost, if I climb the berm right outside my apartment, I can see the hockey arena from where I sit. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy watching it. I've been to hockey games, minor league games. I've been to a couple NHL games. They're a blast. But I just don't do the deep dives and understand the intricacies like I do football and basketball. So
it's one of those games that I don't exactly like betting on, but I love to go to actual NHL games. It's one of my favorite sports to actually see live.
A lot of fun. So yeah, if you, maybe we'll put together a hockey show here at some point.
Yeah, by the playoffs.
I'll just kind of sit back and put the show on autopilot and let you drive. But
well, I'm sure some people at Winners and Winers also cover hockey religiously, so I'm sure we could have a guest on or something.
Absolutely. I mean, we got some fantastic hockey writers over there. They got some guys that live and breathe hockey. I know the Dominator's a good hockey guy. I know we've got Valdis. A couple of our European writers are very good hockey guys. So yeah, as always, check out Winners and Winers if you're looking for hockey. So, but today we're talking basketball, Scott. It's college basketball, and we've got a list of games that haven't been canceled yet. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to take a look at a couple of the bigger games that get our attention with the ranked teams, and let you know how we're leaning. So we're going to start off, Scott, in the Big Ten with a can we call them a surprising Michigan team, being 10-0 at this point? Is that a surprise to you?
Well, I'm surprised that they're still 10-0 because everyone was talking about before the season how Wisconsin and Iowa were going to be the best two teams in the Big Ten, with maybe a little bit of a sprinkle of Illinois. Because Illinois had some hype going in. And Michigan seemed like they were the fourth team or so, something along those lines where you knew that they'd be good. They'd probably be a tournament team.
Yeah, borderline tournament team, exactly.
You didn't think they'd be top 10. But no. I remember last year, Michigan also started off extremely well in the Maui, which they ended up winning. They ended up being a top 4 team in the country. They might have even been number 1 for about a week or so. But then things kind of fell off in the second half of the season. So I'm kind of curious if Michigan will be able to keep it together. But I've told you I like this Michigan team for weeks. It seems like you're –
I remember hearing
that. Yeah, against in the Minnesota game from a little while ago. But I've watched Michigan play. I think this team's very good. I think they're the best team in the conference. So that's just my opinion on Michigan. Is it good enough to potentially win the title? Probably not. But I think it's good enough to potentially make the Final Four.
Well, I think what everybody undervalued as far as Michigan goes was the contribution of their freshman center, Hunter Dickinson. He has just been a man among boys, if you will, there in the paint, and they've played very good defense in the paint. But now they get to face a tough Wisconsin team that is your alma mater, Scott. I know you follow Badgers basketball religiously. Now I do have a premium play on that, so I'm going to let you talk about the side a little bit, and I'll jump in with some thoughts on the total. But this game's being played in Michigan. Michigan's 3.5-point underdogs. That line has remained pretty steady.
You mean favorite?
What's that? Underdog, yeah. 3.5 point favorite. Sorry about that. Yeah, and 134 is the total. So what you got here, buddy?
Yeah, you know how loyal I am to Wisconsin and how
Wisconsin.
I like Michigan here. Just to be very straightforward here, Wisconsin, even though they're the ninth ranked team in the country, 10-2 overall, I don't think this team is very good. If you just watch them play, this team doesn't have much talent. I know that you have two big men in there who are pretty good in Potter as well as Reavers, and I think that's a pretty good two-headed monster in the paint. They rely heavily on Trice, who, don't get me wrong, I think is talented, but late in games, they pretty much tell him to go hero ball the entire time, and they don't really do anything in the last 5 minutes besides give the ball to Trice and let him chuck up a bunch of shots. I don't think it's going to work against Michigan. I think Michigan is just too well-rounded. I think Michigan has the much better offense in this game. I think defensively Michigan can hold their own. Plus, Michigan's also averaging roughly 5 more rebounds per game. So Wisconsin, despite having two good big men, haven't been as dominant on the boards as you kind of hope they would be. And Dickinson should be able to do enough in order to at least force Reavers or Potter or both into foul trouble. And I think that Wisconsin will struggle on the highway after that. So for that reason, I just think Michigan's much better. And based on how Michigan's been playing lately, I think that if you end up playing a bunch of home games where you beat Northwestern by 19, Minnesota by 25, some of these games are blowouts. I know Wisconsin's better than those two teams, but laying 3.5 here, it seems a little bit short. I think Michigan should win by about 6.
Let me ask you: do you think the that double overtime game where they struggled against Indiana? Do you think that has a residual effect as they now have to go on the road and face this tough team from Michigan?
I don't think it does, because I think you make the argument that it was a look-ahead spot for Wisconsin, or maybe you can make the opposite argument that Wisconsin didn't play its greatest game because they're already looking ahead to the Michigan game, which I know you see a decent amount. So I think,
there's look-ahead games in conference play.
I think there are.
It's not like they're playing. It's not like they're playing Northwestern or Penn State. I mean, it's a decent Indiana team. I don't.
You say decent. I mean, they were 7-4 going to the game. You have a matchup on the road in Ann Arbor against an undefeated top 10 team in the country. I think that if you are going to be arguing about a look-ahead spot, I think it's definitely possible. Okay. I mean, watching the game, I didn't think Wisconsin looked any good. They won the game in double overtime. Questionable officiating. I mean, you played 2 overtimes, and Indiana attempted 8 free throws in the entire game, which makes absolutely no sense. I don't know how you only attempt 8 free throws in a game that's about 50 minutes. That's almost impossible. But Wisconsin ended up winning the game. Trice had a bunch of big shots down the stretch. But Wisconsin, I've watched them play. What's their best win of the season? On the road against Michigan State?
Yeah, it has to be 9-point win on the road against Michigan State.
I'm saying, you look at who they've played, it's just like they haven't played anybody. And when they haven't really looked that sharp. You look at the beginning of the season, they played a bunch of below-average teams. They played against Marquette afterward, lost on the road. Mm-hmm. Rhode Island, Loyola, Chicago, okay? You beat Louisville, who's coming right back off of COVID. They killed them in that game. Beat Nebraska, beat Michigan State. Michigan State's not very good. You lost to Maryland at home, which is an absolute joke.
Yeah, as a favorite, 7.5-point favorite, they lose.
Maryland also beat Illinois on the road the other day. So
yeah, Maryland and Michigan were good for about a week.
Yeah, but they beat Minnesota, who's been an awful road team, and they beat Indiana in double overtime. So nothing I've seen from Wisconsin tells me this team's a top 10 team in the country. I think Michigan's actually just better. So for that reason, I'll take Michigan.
All right. As far as thoughts on the total go, it seems to me that this is a Wisconsin team that, like you said, they're going to attempt to throw the ball, they're going to attempt to pass the ball around.
That's how it looks like when they shoot. They try to throw it at the rim.
Yeah, and try to get Trice open. This is a tough Michigan defense. They're third in the nation in 2-point defense, so they're not going to be able to just bang the ball inside. They're going to have to find an open shot for Trice. I think this is going to take a lot of time. I know these are two good offenses, but I'd probably lean under here. Yourself?
I'm not going to play the side, but I will have a slight lean to the over. I know that this total is extremely low, and it wouldn't surprise me if it goes under. But you're looking at a total of 134.
Right.
Both teams to get to 67.
Yeah, I know.
I think Michigan at home could – I know Wisconsin's defense is good, but I definitely think that Michigan's offense could get to 75 here. Like, it wouldn't fully surprise me, especially if this game is close, as the spread indicates. You have a lot of scramble points late with some free throws and some nonsense shenanigans going on in the last couple minutes.
Nonsense shenanigans. How old are you?
Is that not the right description to use scramble points in college basketball? I feel like that's a perfect summary of what happens late.
You're gonna have the nonsense shenanigans by these rap
You
scouts.
agree with that? Because when you see people running around like chickens without heads trying to foul people down 10 points with 30 seconds to go, I think that is a perfect example of a nonsense shenanigan.
Well, I know if I have the under, it's definitely nonsense shenanigans. If I have the over, it's well-played basketball.
That is honestly fair. If you have the over, it's you got to play all 40 minutes.
That's right. You can't play 39 minutes and call it good. That's exactly.
And if you have the under, you just got to warm up the buses already. It's usually.
If you got an H on your, what does the H stand for? Is that Hurley?
I'm not even sure. I like the shirt. I bought it. I'm not even sure. But the point of Michigan, if you look at their last 4 games, they scored at least 80 points in each of their last 4. So this team has been really good offensively. I think Wisconsin's defense will cut into that. But I do think Michigan's offense is deep enough that it could handle it and score at least 73. And if you're already looking at 73, then it should be pretty easy to get to the over. So for that reason, I'll have a slight lean to the over because the total's so low. But I do really like Michigan here. I'll go official with Michigan.
All right. Earlier you said it backwards, but you've got the play you like is the side with Michigan, right?
Yeah, I like Michigan on the side.
All right, very good. And obviously the play that I like is the side as well. I've got a slight lean. I'll lean the other way. I think the game flow is going to keep this one just a little bit under, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see 80-75, something like that, either side. So, all right, my friend, that takes us through the Big Ten, and now let's talk about ACC basketball, which I don't know what it is, Scott. I just despise ACC basketball right now.
Probably because most of the teams aren't very good.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it, but I guess the other part is they're supposed to be good. I'm supposed to get excited about Virginia. I'm supposed to get excited about North Carolina. I'm supposed to get excited about, here's a segue, Duke.
Well, the first game of the season, I said I don't think North Carolina's going to make the tournament. I still don't even know if they're going to make the tournament. So just keep that in mind.
I will. I keep it at the forefront of my brain at all times, buddy.
Yeah, well, you should, because that team's not very good. And Duke is somehow ranked.
They are. Duke is ranked, because they're Duke. And they go to Virginia Tech tonight, Scott, to take on the Hokies. Duke is actually I've got them here as a 1-point road favorite. 141.5 is the total. Okay. All right. What do you got here?
I have no play on this one officially because
all right, good show, everybody.
I know. I don't know much about either team besides the fact that Duke's pretty overrated. I've seen Virginia Tech play occasionally. Team's fine. Don't really throw me offensively, but they are pretty good as a team. I like Virginia Tech. It's mostly just a fade on Duke. Duke is, don't get me wrong, I understand they're 3-0 in conference play, that they're 5-2 overall. They beat Notre Dame by 10 on the road. I mean, sure, whatever. I mean, Virginia Tech beat Notre Dame by 14 at home. I don't think Notre Dame's that good.
That's usually the spot where you say congratulations.
Yeah. No, that was the next part. They beat Boston College by 1 at home. Congratulations. Boston College is 2-9. Congratulations. You won by 1 point despite being about 10-point favorites. And then you beat Wake Forest on the road, and Wake Forest is 0-3 in conference play. So I don't think Duke is very good, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Don't get me wrong, would it surprise me if they win the game? No, but I think that based on the line movement, I think it's questionable because I don't really know why all this love is coming in on Duke when I've watched them play, and I think this team's not very good.
I like the over here, buddy. I really do.
Well, Duke can't guard anybody, so that's fair.
That's what I'm saying. And this is a Virginia Tech team that can score some points. They really can. Although we haven't seen a ton of them in conference play. There, they've everybody's kind of slow to get rocking and rolling.
Scoring 80 against Miami is not that bad.
Let me ask you, Scott. There's one game on Virginia Tech's schedule that really would worry me if I'm a Hokie backer here. How about a 20-point loss to Penn State? What do you make of that, brother?
What happens. Sometimes it just happens. No, that was a while ago though. It's a matter of these
It
teams.
was. Well, this season. I mean, yes, it was last year. You're right. It was, but it was the first week in December. So.
Correct. But the point I'm trying to say is that in college basketball, it's something that you always have to keep in mind. It's not like college football where if you lose 1 or 2 games in the early part of the season, it's a wrap. College basketball.
I realize that. I know Kansas loses by 26 to Texas. They're still ranked in the top 10. I mean, no, I get it. It's just
they came back and beat TCU by 30. So I mean, it just happens. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's tough to overreact to games that happen earlier because college basketball, especially with some of these teams that have been awful to start, Duke, for example, even Kentucky, which is a perfect example, they can be awful in the beginning of the year, and then you recognize them by late February, and you realize, this team's actually pretty good, and you're not really sure what happened earlier this season, especially in the one and done era where you have a lot of.
That's a different issue with.
I'm just saying that just because they lost a game about a month ago by destruction, I'm not going to overreact and say this team is bad because of one performance. I think it's possible you have a dud in there.
I would prefer if you overreacted.
I could overreact, but it's just I think Virginia Tech. I know they lost on the road to Louisville by 2. I don't think that's that bad because at the Yum Yum Center, Louisville's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But Virginia Tech since the Penn State.
No. It's just the Yum Center.
I prefer the Yum Yum Center.
Just one Yum.
I prefer the 2 Yums. Okay.
The Yum Yum.
Yum Yum Center. That should be the nickname for that stadium. But looking through it, Virginia Tech I think has been good lately. So Duke, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't surprise me if they win because I'm sure they have more talent, quote unquote, from 5-star recruits, whatever. I don't really care. I've seen Duke play. I'm not impressed.
All right. So you like the Hokies here?
I'm leaning Hokies, but I'm not going to play.
I'll lean Hokies. I'll play to the over. How about that?
That's fair. We're on the same page on that one.
All right. Very good. Yeah. Virginia Tech's seen the over cash 6 straight times and 8 of 10 this season. That's solid for me. Duke's had the over 3 of the last 4.
Am I supposed to be impressed that Duke beat Boston College and Wake Forest?
Apparently the rest of America is. So
that's pretty much the only reason why they're ranked 19th.
Well, the other thing is absence makes the heart grow fonder, and they had a little 3-week gap in their schedule as they dealt.
But people forgot how bad they were.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, they lose by 15 to Illinois, and then they beat a pretty bad Notre Dame team, and then they just take a hiatus. And then
they haven't played anybody. You look at who they played. They lost Michigan State by 6. Right. They lost that was at home. They lost to Illinois by 15 at home. You look at everyone else they've played. Their best win might actually be against Wake Forest.
Sure. Oh no, I think you can absolutely make that argument. And they've been terrible covering big numbers. They
haven't played anybody.
Well, they beat Coppin State by 10 as a 40-point favorite.
They beat Coppin State, Bellarmine, and Notre Dame, who's 0-4 in conference play. And I already talked about how bad Boston College is. So their best win is actually against Wake Forest.
Am I the only one that's never heard of Bellarmine before this season?
They're a brand new D1 team.
Where did they come from? Where are they at? You
mean location-wise, or?
Yeah, where? If I wanted to go take a tour of the Bellarmine campus,
I have no idea.
You don't know where to go? Okay.
No, I know I gave him out earlier this year against Howard, and you stared daggers at me for picking such a high-profile matchup. But, yeah, I know of Bellarmine, but they're one of those.
Take another play of the day for Radford on an NFL wildcard weekend.
That one.
Can't get enough of those.
That one, so it's fine. But I know that Bellarmine is kind of this year's Merrimack, where you look at them and go, "Who the hell is this?" And it's like, oh, they just randomly got promoted from D2.
I'm gonna guess Bellarmine is somewhere towards the south and the east of where I am.
Wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So, by the way, if you're out there in the comments section because we're too lazy to look it up right now, tell us where Bellarmine is. I know somebody watching knows where Bellarmine is. So tell us all about Bellarmine if you would. You got anything else on this card for tonight? Any other games stand out for you that you want to give out?
I was looking into the Toledo Eastern Michigan over.
Yeah.
At 153. Mostly because of the fact these teams played each other earlier this year, which is very bizarre because Toledo played a conference game in its second game of the year, which is kind of unheard of for the MAC. But That game got into the 160s. The total now is at 143. Toledo's been cooking offensively. They scored 95 points in its last game against Ohio. I gotta like the over there. You just look at it and go, I understand you're expecting a bit of a regression, but you're expecting an 18-point regression from the first meeting. I think that's a little bit too much.
Okay.
Toledo can score 90 in any game they play.
All right, very good.
I'm assuming you agree with that one.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think that's solid. 18-point regression does seem like a lot. Although I'll tell you what, Scott, these teams playing. I don't know what we've decided to call them. Not doubleheaders, not back to backs, but where they play the same team twice in a row. You've seen some interesting results. You've seen 30, 40-point swings from one night to the next. So
I'm just backing the Toledo offense. My logic is that if Toledo scores 80 in this game, which they should, at least because at home, because Toledo's been averaging about 80 per game, I think Eastern Michigan should get to 64.
Fair enough.
So that's how I view it.
All right, that's good. All right, that's a little bonus. That's a little bonus play for y'all. Got any thoughts on Kansas, Oklahoma State?
I'd lean Kansas as well. Just Oklahoma State, I understand that they have a potential number 1 pick in the draft. This team just can't win close games in conference.
Yep.
That blown game to West Virginia was so beyond awful. You're up 19 at home in the second half. How do you lose that game? That's just bad. You also lost at TCU at home. Like, I understand that they have some high-profile players, but come on, guys. Yeah. You got to finish off a game every now and then.
Yep, agreed. All right. Yeah, I think this Kansas does this every year about this time of the year. It's actually a little early, but it's usually about the middle of the season.
They just start peaking and killing everybody in conference.
Well, they'll lose a 2 or 3, or they'll lose a dumb one. You're like, oh god, this Kansas team is going to be terrible. And then all of a sudden, second half of the conference season, they just step on the gas. I think that may have.
And then they lose in the round of 32. Where
they're that's a different issue. But they dominate conference play as is their want. So all right, there you go. So that's our show for today. Couple of high profile games, couple of bonus games for you guys. We appreciate you watching as always. And let us know what you're playing in the comment section. Let us know what you're doing with the show. But most importantly, don't forget to give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And, of course, don't forget to check out winnersandwhiners.com for deep dives into every game every single day. You guys stay tuned. Scott and I are going to be back taking a look at a couple of NBA games. But for this one, that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, wishing you nothing but the best. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.